Welcome to Dateline SAU, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Terry Koob.
And I'm Lindsay Voss. St. Ambrose University plans to return to a normal schedule this fall. In an email to students, President Sister Joan Lisinski wrote, "This August, the university intends to return to a, quote, a responsible normalcy, unquote. This means in-person classes, hands-on learning, and extracurricular activities and events held on campus. The move is based on the growing availability of COVID vaccines. If the university needs to reverse course," Lisinski wrote, quote, "we will have a clear contingency plan in mind should circumstances warrant." Students can also expect changes to their meal plans in the fall. The changes include options with a 7, 12, and 19 meals a week and a significant increase in buzzbucks.
Incoming students are no longer able to declare a major in theater. In fall 2020, St. Ambrose University announced the cancellation of the program.
Well, we typically review a number of programs in any given year to make sure that they're sustainable in terms of their enrollment and the quality of the program. Certainly in the issue of theater, it was never a question of quality, as evidenced obviously by the first place national award that they won. The best answer we can give you is that this was reviewed by the Educational Practices Committee and the Cabinet and the Board of Trustees, and it was a decision that was made in terms of financial stewardship for the most part. Anybody who's majoring in theater currently will be allowed to finish their degree to completion.
The theater program will still put on productions for the seeable future.
Residence Life announced it's bringing back summer housing. Students with internships in the Quad Cities or who work on campus are available to apply to live at St. Ambrose during the break. This was not an option for students last summer due to the COVID restrictions.
So our goal was to get back to some sense of normalcy. We have students who earn money and need that money to pay for school. We have students who are participating in very valuable internships, which would be considered a deep practice in terms of higher education, something very significant, sets you up for success in the future. We also have a need to have student workers on campus. So last summer, we had no student workers in our department personally, and there were things that we just couldn't get to that we wanted to. And so you push that around all aspects of the campus, that gets really difficult.
Students live in apartment-style housing since there is no summer meal plan. Applications for summer housing will be available Wednesday.
St. Ambrose Peace Corps Prep is now taking applications. It is a certificate program that helps prepare students for a life of service. Completing the courses makes students a stronger candidate for jobs within Peace Corps as well as for other service-based programs. The deadline to apply is Friday, March 26th.
SAU Dance Marathon hosted a black tie dance last Friday, March 12th. The night was filled with music, games, and prizes, all to raise funds for the Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital in Iowa City. Turnout at this annual event was lower than normal.
Normally we have about 100 people come, so it's definitely a little less, but honestly this year that's okay. We wanted to still follow the COVID guidelines and everything.
It's a little different with everyone wearing masks, but it's really fun because we not only get to support the kids financially, but we get to protect them with covering our faces as well.
Dance Marathon raised $500 during the black tie dance. That money is added to the year-long fundraising efforts, which culminates during the club's main event, a 12-hour dance marathon. This year's dance marathon is scheduled for April 17th.
This year's National Defense Authorization Act includes a plan to rename 10 military bases bearing the names of Confederate generals. In celebration of the Civil Rights Week, the St. Ambrose Veterans Recruitment Services Office hosted an online event. They asked a former St. Ambrose adjunct history professor to be a guest speaker and provide perspective on this historical change.
So, I've been around the Army, for 40 or 50 years because my dad was also in the Army. I have no recollection of any of this happening. We close bases. It's easier to close a base, I think, than it is to rename it. Commission's been appointed, and we'll see what the commission does.
Anyone interested in viewing this event can find it on the My SAU Diversity and Equity portal page or by searching YouTube using the keywords St. Ambrose Military Base Name Change.
Wednesday was St. Patrick's Day. It's a day that holds special importance to some with Irish descent.
We celebrated my grandpa's birthday, which falls on St. Patrick's Day, and we were singing songs with my family and whatnot. It's important to celebrate St. Patrick's Day for me is because it's part of my heritage, and my family's only first generation here, so freshly off the boats, kinda. So it means a lot that we have a day to celebrate. I do think St. Ambrose should hold St. Patrick's Day events, not only for just the Irish heritage, people Irish here on campus, but St. Patrick's Day is a universal holiday in ways. You see a lot of people, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, all celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and it's like amazing to see.
Coming up after a short break, the St. Ambrose University plays host to the NAIA National Cheer and Dance Championships.
And both SAU squads have a good shot at a national title.
David Meyer will be here to tell you how they fared, coming up after this short break.
On Dateline SAU.
We're more than a radio station. We're your neighbors, investing time in our community. We're mentors, guiding the next generation of broadcasters. We're supporters of veterans, partners with social service agencies, and investigators of history. We're dedicated sports fans. We're committed to the stories that make the Quad Cities unique. We are KALA Radio, 88.5 FM, 106.1 FM. Turn it on, turn it up.
A year ago at this time, the St. Ambrose dance and cheerleading teams were set to compete for national titles on their home court at Lee Lohman Arena. But then the pandemic hit. The championships were canceled and those hopes were put on hold. So when the event returned to SAU this year, the Bees were determined to make the most of it.
And our 2021 NAIA Competitive Dance National Champion, team score of 88.72, St. Ambrose University.
It was the second national title for the SAU dance team since the NAIA began offering a championship in 2017. The win caps a season where St. Ambrose won all 3 regular season competitions and took first in the NAIA Northeast Regional Qualifier. They used a difficult, powerful, and artistic routine to take an early lead following the preliminary round of competition on Friday. They then capped it off with another strong performance in the finals to outdistance the 8-team field. Their point total was the 3rd highest score in the 4-year history of the championships. St. Ambrose won its first national title in 2018. They were the national runner-up in 2019, the last time a national championship was held. The competition was just as fierce for the cheerleading national championships. Following the preliminary round, St. Ambrose and Oklahoma City were within 12 100ths of a point of each other for the top spot. When the finals were over, the top 4 teams posted the 4 highest scores ever recorded at the national championships since they began in 2017. And it was Oklahoma City edging out the Bees for the number 1 spot. It marked the best finish ever at the cheerleading nationals for St. Ambrose. Their previous best finish was 3rd in 2019. In addition, 2 members of the SAU competitive cheer squad and 8 members of the St. Ambrose dance team were named to the All-American teams. After scoring just 3 touchdowns in their first 3 games, the St. Ambrose football team came alive on Saturday at the expense of the Trinity International Trojans. Quarterback John Beckendorf returned to the helm after missing last week's game due to an injury. He threw for 4 touchdowns and ran for another as the Bees rolled to a 49-32 victory. The win pushes the team to a record of 2-2 overall and 1-1 in the Mid-States Football Association Conference. The St. Ambrose women's bowling team bested 16 other teams to win the Ebonite Warhawk Open last weekend in Addison, Illinois. Senior Kristen Swank led the way with an average 217.5 score over 6 games. Swank was joined by Addie Nelson and Hannah Jaros on the all-tournament team. It was the second straight tournament title for the SAU women and their third of the season. The men's team finished second in a 23-team field at the Warhawk Open. Nathan Stubler was one of the top bowlers at the event, averaging 234.8 in 6 games. The SAU JV men placed second out of 7 teams. The men's volleyball team had a big win this weekend. They knocked off ranked Cardinal Stritch Tuesday in Lee Loman Arena. The Bees let a big lead slip away in the third set, but rebounded to take the next 2 in convincing fashion. The team is now 4-4 in the CCAC, 9-12 overall. After suffering 2 straight losses, the women's soccer team bounced back in a big way with 2 wins. On Sunday, 4 first-half goals were enough to knock off number 9 Central Methodist. It was the highest-ranked team ever beaten by a St. Ambrose women's soccer team. For an encore, they followed up with a 5-0 shutout at Governor's State on Wednesday. The team improves to 4-3 in the conference, 6-4 overall. The men's lacrosse team showed why they are ranked 6th in the country, powering to a couple impressive wins last weekend. On Friday night, the Bees peppered the Midland goalie with 73 shots to coast to a 20-5 win. Michael Shakarin led the way with 4 goals and an assist. It was Morningside's turn on Saturday as the Bee defense limited their opponent to just 6 shots. The men are now 3-0 in the conference and 6-1 overall. And the women's lacrosse team remain undefeated through 6 games this season, holding off Quincy University Hawks on a rainy St. Vincent field on Wednesday. The Bees are currently receiving votes in the latest NAIA national rankings. And that's it for sports. I'm David Meyer.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Dateline SAU.
We'll be back next week with the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our newscasts, late-breaking news, and more.
You can also find news stories and videos on The Hive at sauthebuzz.com.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.